Good evening, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is May 14th, 2018, and it is already about 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning in Israel on May 15th. And wow, this is an amazing ride that we are on, and we're still here. And no, we don't know the day or the hour. All we can do is watch, and May 14th definitely did not come and go without event. The riots on the border are rising, increasing. There were more than 50 Palestinians that were killed today by Israel because they were protesting violently at the border. And so beyond the embassy being dedicated on the 70th anniversary, there's the definite being surrounded by their enemies. Okay, and this is part of the prophecy of Luke 21, where it says, when you see Jerusalem surrounded by their enemies. Okay, so I want to share with you, I've looked into some details about Pentecost. Okay, now that we have officially passed May 14th, I have looked into some things about Pentecost, and I found some amazing timelines and conjunctions and signs and confirmations of what could be and what will most likely be the very end of the timeline on Pentecost on May 21st. Now, I have this page pulled up here. A few people on my page, on my video this morning, asked me to check out this video by Rob R. You can go ahead and check out his video and what he had to say as he shared this specific video. War is possibly about to break out, and it's about a 15-minute video, and about 7 or 8 minutes of that video he shared a dream that he had. And I was in that dream. I was in one of the dreams that he had. And he was talking about putting all the piping together and all the tubing together. And that I saw where it was out of sync. And it was I went to put everything back together. And he made a mention in that video that he sees that as my gifting to be able to put together timelines and scenarios, and we're searching, so we don't know when the end is, and all we can do is continue searching. But I found that very interesting and actually quite encouraging today that Rob would share that dream, that the Lord gave him a dream and I was in the dream, and that may be a confirmation to many of you who want to look more closely at what I am going to be sharing with you right now. And then let me show you something else here. Okay, the next thing I want to show you is that I got an answer back from Facebook. I shared with everybody that my post had been systematically deleted across the board. Now that post has returned. Okay, I don't want people to think that I'm a liar or I'm trying to do things to get more visits or hits, or I don't do that. But I want to share this answer I got with you from Facebook, and this is what they sent me. You told us that your post wasn't spam, and our reply: thanks again for letting us know about the post. We took another look and found it doesn't go against our community standards, so we've restored your post. We're sorry for the trouble and appreciate you taking the time to get in touch with us so that we could correct this. Okay? So just to let everybody know that my post, if you see it on Facebook, it has been restored. And so that is the reason why. They took another look at their community standards, and they found that my post did not go against their community standards. So anyway, that post has been restored about the midnight hour on May 14th. Well, at any rate, we have gone past the midnight hour on May 14th. May 14th in Israel is over. And after that, I got to looking at Pentecost. I think that the Pentecost is a time frame that definitely would fit also within the 70-week prophecy. Now, I've always seen that 1948 was Pentecost number one, and that 2017 was Pentecost number 70. But we are right here within 2017, 2018, and I did not want to take a very. I wasn't looking at Pentecost yet because I saw the power of May 14th as too great, and there's too many things that tie together with the exact day, and so I hadn't looked at Pentecost yet. But now that we have gone past May 14th, I was taking a look at Pentecost today, and I found some very important and significant things. And I think right at the end, you are going to be able to see what I'm sharing and the significance of this. So I would just ask that you would stick with me through the length of this video. I'm going to try to be as quick as I can. Okay, for right now, I'm going to take this one step at a time, and then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you the complete timeline that I'm seeing with this that connects us to Pentecost of 2018. And what we have then is we have May 14th as our final 7-day warning to Pentecost, which fits in with the 70-week prophecy, being that Pentecost is the Feast of Weeks. And so May 21st, and we subtract 1,335 days from that based on Daniel 12:12. And that brings us back to Wednesday, the 24th of September, 2014. Now, I want to bring to everybody's attention that this date, the 24th of September, 2014, in my opinion, was the most significant day within the presidency of Barack Obama, the most significant day within the presidency of Barack Obama. And this was the day that Barack Obama chaired, okay? So we have a link here from Pentecost going back 1,335 days. And it brings us to the day that Barack Obama chaired the United Nations Security Council. Okay? So Barack Obama was the president of the Security Council. He chaired the meeting of the Security Council, and he was put in charge of this UN speech where Obama vows to fight ISIS, the network of death, okay? He was put in charge of the fight against ISIS on September 24th, 2014, and this was while he was chairing as president of the United Nations. Okay, so for those who are looking for the rise of the Antichrist, I mean, we have within the United Nations and within the timeline of Barack Obama a peace prize that he received for doing nothing, and then he was placed in charge of the United Nations Security Council as president. And we're going to see the contradictions within his the vow that he makes to fight ISIS, and what he actually ends up saying later, and how he was the one who trained ISIS, that they had done all the work that they could to train ISIS. So he was put in charge at the United Nations during the Feast of Trumpets, September 24th, 2014, and vowed to fight ISIS. Well, at the end of his term or later on, he came out and said that they were training ISIS. So what is happening? What is going on within the United Nations? What is going on within this peace prize that he received? Why did they make him president of the Security Council during this session? And yet here is a guy that is outright lying and outright deceiving and outright doing exactly the opposite of what he said he would do, vowing to fight ISIS, the network of death. Okay, and this just shows here that from this article, this was on September 24th, 2014. Then the next timeline is from there we go back another 1,260 days, and that brings us a 7-year timeline going back to 2011. And from Wednesday, the 24th of September, going back 1,260 days, we get to Wednesday, April 13th, 2011. This date in Obama's administrative amnesty, April 13th, 2011. This date in Obama's administrative amnesty. Okay, this is an article that was put out, and this date was a very key date, an important date within Obama's administrative amnesty. And let's look at what this article says. It says on April 13th, 2011, the Obama administration was exposed for suspending the deportations of over 34,000 illegal aliens in fiscal year 2010. Approximately 12,000 on the basis of deferred action. These numbers were provided to Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa by the Department of Homeland Security, DHS. That number dramatically contradicted the number that then DHS Secretary Janet Napolitano provided during a Senate Judiciary Committee oversight hearing only the month before, where she testified that the number of illegal aliens who received deferred action was less than 900 in 2010. So what did the article say? There were over 34,000 illegal aliens that used deferred action to stay in the country, but their administration said that there were only 900. Okay, and we're going to read this a little bit more, but I want to show you right now that this connection between administrative amnesty back at the beginning of this timeline is connected to the work of Barack Obama as president of the United Nations Security Council and the fight against ISIS and the lying and the deception that was taking place to allow the Syrian refugees to come into the country. And so this timeline leads us and shows us the link between the power of the Antichrist at the United Nations. Then going back, we see this timeline leading us to a problem with the administration and allowing illegal immigrants into the country, lying about the reasoning for these illegal immigrants staying in the country. And if we read a little bit more, it says on the very same day, the Obama administration's real numbers were exposed. Okay, so this article brings to light that on April 13th, 2011, the Obama administration amnesty program was exposed. Okay, and see, this is all tied in together with the rise of ISIS, the rise of the Muslim immigration problem into the United States, and tied to the fight of ISIS in the whole world, where Barack Obama did not actually fight at all against ISIS, but allowed and worked for the Syrian refugees that could be allowed to migrate into all the countries of the world. And this was the rise of the Syrian refugee crisis, which I've shared before is connected to the sixth trumpet, the 200 million man army from the Euphrates River, the Syrian refugee crisis. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the next few pages of this article, and you can pause this and read it if you would like. This is connected to the Deferred Action Childhood Arrivals Act, which is DACA, the Dreamers Act, which Donald Trump just put an end to. Okay? So all of this is going back, and it's connected to the rise of ISIS and the amnesty and the problem with immigration. Okay? Well, anyway, this is the day, okay, September 24th, 2014 is the day that Barack Obama was president of the United Nations Security Council. Okay, here he was, president, United States. This is the United Nations Security Council. in New York. Obama chairs UN debate on terror threats. Okay, so here's the connection. He is the one who's in charge of the terror threat. He is the one who is in charge of the fight against ISIS. Yet it comes out later that we are funding and training ISIS, spoken by Barack Obama. So what do we see with the agreement that took place at the United Nations to fight ISIS, the network of death? What do we get? What do we get then? We get a liar, a betrayer, a traitor to the country and to the world through the United Nations, because he chaired the United Nations Security Council and outright lied that he would fight ISIS, when in the end it was shown and proven that they were funding and training ISIS. We are speeding up the training of ISIL. We are speeding up training of ISIL forces, including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province. This is talking about the Syrian refugees and the Syrian rebels, which they are not only helping the Syrian rebels, right, but they're actually helping ISIS. It's ISIS they are helping. They're not helping a good cause. They're helping ISIS. And this was in 2015. So we go back here to the United Nations Security Council in 2014, and this is just a show. It's all a lie. And this is the one they put in charge to fight ISIS. Well, he's the one, okay? He's the one, and this is why it has all been revealed through the timelines of Daniel. That's why every time we look at a significant biblical date and we go back 1,260 days, or we go back 1,335 days, we come up with something that's always another piece of the puzzle, because here we have the Antichrist that is being revealed biblically, and all the biblical dates on the calendar and all the important dates within God's revelations reveal who the Antichrist is. Every revelation and every timeline comes up with something new. And I would say right here, okay, I would say here right now that this day that Barack Obama was the head of the United Nations Security Council was one of the most significant days of his presidency. Okay, well, this timeline reveals that there are 1,335 days. Obama's America, top ISIS commander, was trained in the U.S. The world's most wanted terrorist, Osama bin Laden. Okay, so before I show you the full timeline, then if we go forward from the 21st of May, we go forward from May 21st, we go forward from Pentecost, 1,260 days. It brings us to November 1st, 2021. And if we go to the Hebrew calendar, we'll find that November 1st, 2021 is the 26th of Cheshvan, which is the 26th and the 27th day of the second month. The calendar is it's a 2-day span. And so November 2nd would show up as the 27th of Cheshvan. So between November 1st and November 2nd of 2021, it is the 27th of Cheshvan. That's the second month and the 27th day. That is the day that the flood ended. Okay, so here is the timeline. Here is the timeline. From April 13th, 2011, the Obama amnesty program and allowing illegal immigrants to stay in the country, be it Muslim or any other nation, it was just a takeover of the immigrants of the United States, a planned takeover from within by allowing all the illegal immigrants to stay in the country. Add 1,260 days to that, and we come to September 24th, 2014. Obama chairs the UN and vows to fight ISIS, which was a lie, which was a lie, and, was proven to be a lie because they were funding and training ISIS. And then if we add 1,335 days to that, we come to May 21st, 2018. And that is Pentecost. And so what we have now is we have from May 14th, this being a 7-day warning to Pentecost. And that could be the beginning of the Great Tribulation, the rapture of the church. And then from there, we have 1,260 days, bringing us to November 1st and 2nd, 2021, the day the flood ended, 27 Chesvan from Genesis 8:14, where it says on the 27th day of the second month. Okay, now let's look at Revelation 12, and we'll confirm that after rapture, what we have to find and understand is the 1,260-day connection. Okay, and this is what we're looking at from May 21st, Pentecost, rapture, and then 1,260 days. What does Revelation 12, 3 through 6 say? Then another sign appeared in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns. On his heads were 7 diadems. His tail swept away 1/3 of the stars of heaven and threw them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman who was about to give birth, so that when she gave birth, he might devour her child. She gave birth to a son, a male child, who was to rule all the nations with a rod of iron. Her child was caught up to God and to his throne. Then the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared by God, so that there she would be nourished for 1,260 days. Okay, so what we have here in verses 5 and 6 is that we have the child being caught up, harpazo, rapture to God and to his throne. Then after rapture, it says the woman fled into the wilderness, where she had a place prepared by God, so that there she should be nourished for 1,260 days. So according to Revelation 12, 5 and 6, after the rapture, how long remains after the rapture? What is the time frame that remains after the rapture? It says that after she was caught up, she was taken into the wilderness for 1,260 days. Okay, and that 1,260 days corresponds to the second half of the tribulation period, the 7-year tribulation period, but we have the first half that has already occurred. And what we're looking then is the rapture will start the Great Tribulation. The Great Tribulation, the last half of the 7-year tribulation, will only be 3.5 years. And this is the connection to 1,260 days, bringing us to the same day that the flood ended. And so here is the sign for us. The day the flood ended. As in the days of Noah, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. The flood ended on this day, and this is the day that we have to show us the ending of the Great Tribulation. The ending, this is the sign of when the Great Tribulation will begin based on the 1,260 days that leads us to the same day that the flood ended in the days of Noah. Okay? So this is the timeline that I see. And I thank Rob for sharing his dream earlier this morning, and for sharing his thoughts and his heart about the fact that God has given me a gift to put things together and to find the gap and to try to piece everything together and put the pipes in place and to find what's missing, what is missing. And so, we come to May 14th and we see that it could be, and we're still here. So what do? We continue looking, we continue searching, and what's next on the calendar? It's Pentecost. And Pentecost fits with the 70 weeks, and Pentecost fits with the timeline. And we have right here all these examples. And this leads us by 1,335 days to the exact day that Barack Obama chaired the UN. Okay? Now, if that isn't a sign for the power that the Antichrist will need, okay? The Antichrist received power and will receive power to continue. So if this is the last week, I don't know what other things we can expect to happen, or if there will be other warnings during this week, or what will happen. But I think right now we have another high watch time on May 21st. And all I can say is, we don't know the day or the hour. I'm not saying this is an absolute rapture date. All I can say is that, based on the information, based on what we've been watching, May 21st looks as solid as can be, as the marker then, as the final marker of the 70-week prophecy, the Feast of Weeks, Pentecost. Okay? So, as I said at the beginning, I wasn't ready to look at Pentecost until May 14th was over. But now we've gone past May 14th, and I think that this is what I see, and this is what I want to share. And I pray everybody's blessed tonight. And all the signs are coming, and Jerusalem right now is surrounded. Okay, you might not understand all the timelines and everything else, but I think that we can see the 70 years were just fulfilled, and Israel is surrounded by their enemies. The time of the Great Tribulation is upon us. And the signs are right there for us. When you see all these things, look up, for your redemption draws nigh. So I pray that you would be ready, that everyone would humble themselves before the Lord, that we would seek his face, that we would pray and watch and pray, that we might be found worthy to escape all those things that are going to be coming upon the world. I pray everyone is blessed tonight. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People.